What is good, YouTube? DanCT860 here with finally another deck profile of something that I've been working with. The format has just finally changed, and it's time for new decks to be tested out just to test out how the format is gonna go. And this is where innovation comes in and stuff. And I took to a deck that is really interesting, and I really like it. It's really fun. Um, and pretty anti-meta-ish, I guess you could say. Uh, it's kind of basically scythe control, artifacts, and Traptrix and whatnot. So I'm just gonna show you the deck profile, and you can do what you want with that. So let's get into it. So start off with the three monsters that I play with is 3 Assault Halberd. This card is really good for rank 4 plays and everything. I When I looked at Corey McDuffie's build, when he tried playing the artifact scythe control build, he was running the Curry Bandits. I didn't like it. I don't like the whole idea of it, because I don't want to mill a bunch of spells because there could be a chance where you don't hit any artifacts at all, because the main point of Curry Bandit is mostly to get most of your artifacts into the graveyards and then pick a spell or trap out. But if they're all spell and traps that go to the graveyard, I don't want to be selecting any between good spell and trap cards that I want to further my game state, because it won't do that much if all my spells and traps are tossed into the grave right off the bat. So I decided to go with a more rank 4 control type of way to go. So that's what the halberds are there for, and they +1 off of each other, off of its effect. So you give damage, get another one. So that's great. Then play the 3 Traptrix Murmelio. This is good just because I'm playing a couple trap holes that this could search out. And with that, 2 Diana. I don't want to play 3. I've drawn this more often without Murmelio so many times, even at 2. But I still think 2 is the perfect number, just to be safe, because 2 to 3 ratio is just the safest thing to go. And using her effect to special summon her while you have a trap hole in the graveyard is not that bad. That's it for those monsters. For the artifact, play the 1 Morotech, and I play the 1 Caduceus. These are the only one of artifacts that I play. Yeah, Morotech is self-explanatory, and I play Caduceus just because you could plus pretty good well off of this through chaining your artifacts effects. And if you're already locking out your opponent before you even get this off, they're just gonna fall back so behind, they won't be able to come back from whatever you plus off of. So that's the Caduceus. 2 Scythe. I'll talk about that later, because there's another card that you could probably play in its place for this format. 2 Beagletex for your artifacts. I never used to like this card, even when artifacts came out. But now that I've played the deck, used the artifacts more, I see the big importance on this, especially with the Caduceus that you play. It's just really good. Yeah. That's it for the monsters. Now for the spells, we play 3 Pot of Duality, just to dig in. Self-explanatory right there. You don't special summon ever on your turn, or hardly ever, unless you're going for an exceed play. So you don't need it. It doesn't bother you. 3 Upstarts, same thing for Duality. Then 3 Artifact Ignition, and 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. I really love this card. This card is kind of the same thing as this, but less in this deck. This card is just really good, and the added effect of this being destroyed and skipping your opponent's battle phase is really good. I want to change these out for double cyclones, but for the way the format is looking, it's not going to be a trap heavy deck, so double cyclones you probably won't be able to use very well. Oh, and the last spell I play is 1 instant fusion, just for the Northern play, since I am playing more of a rank 4 control over the carry bandit type of build. For the traps, 3 of the most busted card for this deck. Sanctum is just fucking awesome. I love this card so much. 3 of the second best card, Call a Haunted. It's just really good to call a Haunted on their turn and get your artifacts effects off. For the rest of the traps I play for this format, 2 Grand Horn of Heaven. Only 2, because there's not too many Pendulum decks right now, and the only other 2 decks that this is really good against, that remotely will be being seen in this format right now, is Tellarknights and probably Burning Abyss. Other than that, like, if you're going to a big event, I would keep these at 2. Probably at locals where you see other decks more, I would play this at 3. But this is at 2 because I want to be safe, and my locals, there's eclectic mix of decks being played. I'm only at a regional or a big event. You probably want these at 2 because Cosmos is what you'll probably be expected to play more than anything. 2 time-space trap holes. Really good card this format right now. 1 bottomless, just because it's still pretty good, I think, in my opinion. I hate when people say mid-format or even the beginning of a format that this card isn't good. I don't know what they're talking about. This card is always good when something 15 or more is just dropped on the field. Like, this is always going to be good. I don't understand. And the 1 Nightmare, just because you could do this on the Cosmo matchup, Nightmare. They're Dark Destroyers, and, you know, that's nice. And, the last card is Solemn Warning. Not playing Vanities in this deck, just because it still could be good if you set up board presence in this deck, but if you're not really gonna keep that board presence for too long, you really don't have to run Vanities in this deck. It kind of conflicts with you when you want to go off with your artifacts, and I mean, it's sometimes it's no problem to get rid of your Vanities, but you can't turn it on and off, so you wouldn't want to waste your resources on getting rid of your own Vanities. So, yeah. Just go through the extra deck real quick. The 1 Jaden token. Yeah. Focus. There we go. The 1 Chimera Tech. It should be 2. Norden for the 1 instant fusion. Materia Beast, you'll see why. Trishuli, you'll see why. Karagorgon, because it's really good. Especially in this deck. 101, yeah. Oh, blacked out there. Castel, Dweller, Emerald, Rebellion Dragon. I think it's a good safe play to play this. And I also don't really hate the Platinum Reel. I mean, I know people say it looks like a sticker, but it's still kind of nice. Tyrus, I don't know why people aren't playing this. This is still a really good card, especially in the Cosmo matchup when they would like to, first turn Dark Hole. This will not get destroyed by it. So, Artifact Durandal is really good in this deck, definitely. I think a pretty good card in general in this format. Volcasaurus, Pallades. That's 14 cards. The 15 is supposed to be a Gaia Charger, and for the Chimera Tech, I would take one of the rank 4s out for it, the Chimera Tech, but the 15 card is supposed to be the Gaia Charger. I'm gonna show my side deck just because that I'm just gonna go through some things that I want to address. 2 Lancia. Now, this is what I was talking about the scythes earlier. Depending on how the format is, I sometimes feel Artifact Lancia should be in the main deck over the scythes, and the scythes should be in the side deck. Just because if you go into a big event, again, big events and versus local events, you're expecting more Cosmos than anything, and maybe Magic Specters, which is why you want to flip-flop between these two. But more than anything, Cosmos is your harder matchup. This deck has a incredibly easy matchup against Pendulums across the board. Freaking against Cosmos, it's a much harder. So that's why the Lancias are usually a better main deck than the Scythes, because Scythes game 1 is more of a win more against Pendulums. So I kind of flip-flop on which these two will get main deck. But for right now, what I was playing, this was in the side deck. Then I was playing 2 Cyber Dragons for the Chimera Trick, 2 Maxis, just in case I ran into the Burning Abyss, and the Glow Up Bulb, and Foolish Burial for the Neteria Beast, because all your rank 4s in the main deck are Earth, so I said, you know what, I don't want to dead draw or dead these to be dead in the Cosmo matchup, because they don't really need to run their spells. They could just summon out their big ships and beat over my Neteria Beast, so why would I main deck this if I go game 1 against the Cosmos? But against Pendulum decks and a bunch of spell heavy decks, this is absolutely awesome. One guy at locals called me a bad player for siding this, just the pure fact that I was siding Foolish. But game 2, I completely locked him out first turn with this, because I opened Myrmelio and Foolish and Neteria Beast, and game 3, he opened a Kaiku and a bunch out back row. He was playing spellbooks, Pendulum spellbooks. It was really a fun idea, but it couldn't get him there. Game 3, he just Kaiku set 4, and I opened 2 Artifact Ignitions, an MST, and a Myrmelio, and well, the story just tells itself. I just popped everything and got rid of everything. It was really funny. He was real salty about it. I played 1 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. This is the 15 card. I didn't know what last thing I wanted to run, so I just put that in there. I played the 3rd Grand Horn of Heaven just against those Pendulums and Exceed decks. Then I played 2 Chaos Trap Holes. I put these in the side deck because I didn't want to main deck them, even though I could. But it's again with the theory of facing Pendulums versus Cosmos at events and stuff. What would you see more? And I put these in the side deck because I had the mindset, oh, it's a Trap Hole card. Marilla could search it. I'm like, I forgot this is a counter trap, so it can't. Myrmelio can't search this. So, and then the 3 Imperial Iron Walls, because it's still really good. Standby phasing flip on the Cosmos, and they just cry if they don't have the MSTs. So that is it for the main deck. Stay tuned. I've got another deck profile coming of Ignites, and that is going to be actually my main deck. This will probably be my secondary string deck that I'll be playing. It's really fun. I really like it. Really control-y base deck. It's also very skillful that you have to play this deck. It's a different playstyle than I'm usually used to. I'm more of a ignorant kind of player, just because I like to take it easy when I play. I'm not too competitive, so I never want to play the skillful decks because I'm not that serious about it. But at the same time, I do like winning. So playing this deck made me play a different playstyle, which is a nice change, and I really like it. It's really fun. So you guys should give it a shot. Innovate on a bunch of other decks that you really like. Try to make them good this format until January comes out, because then that's going to be like a 3 specific deck format right there. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you later, YouTube. Peace.